I am your host, MISHUMA, SABA, M.SABA, and this is our Cultural Variety Podcast. Stay tuned. Peace, 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 and welcome to Coffee Talk Podcast. This is Coffee Talk Podcast, the Cultural Variety Podcast show, and I am your host, MISHUMA, SABA, M.SABA, and this is our podcast. How y'all doing this evening? It is Monday, so we are back to start the beginning of the week. What did y'all do this weekend? Did you do anything nice? What did you do? Did y'all get out there, socialize? The weather's been pretty good. What did you do this weekend? Let me know. But yeah, today's Monday, so you know how we do it, man. We here to do cultural studies, which we do on Mondays. It's a nice laid back night. You know what I'm saying? What we do typically is we read chapters of books, paragraph. We give big shouts out, big love to our ancestors, man. We really do. We give our flowers to them. You know what I'm saying? We talk about everything from our scientists, our scholars, our teachers, our doctors, people that just inspire us. You know what I'm saying? And that's what this show is about. So again, welcome to Coffee Talk Podcast. We got a great show lined up. Tonight's show is we're going to give our flowers to and tip our hat to Miss Bessie Coleman. So we're going to do a short reading on Bessie Coleman. And then we also going to go ahead and do a short reading on Ivan Van Sertima. Both of these people are our ancestors. We'll talk more about them in a minute. And then we're going to finish the show off with a poem by Countee, Cullen. And that poem is called The Dark Tower, which was written in 1927. So that's our show for today. This is Coffee Talk. I am your host, MISHUMA, SABA, M.SABA. And let me just say I'm happy to have y'all here. How about that? All right, so listen, if this is your first time tuning in to Coffee Talk, we never get the show started without giving it some flavor. So tonight's flavor, again, it's two parts. It's a wise words, and then it's also a coffee flavor. We got to give it flavor, right? All right, so let's go ahead and begin with what the flavor is. Tonight's flavor is Brazilian coffee. Brazilian coffee has a bittersweet chocolate note with it, with a low acidity. It's a beautiful flavor with a nice smooth aroma. So that's Brazilian coffee mid-roast. That's our flavor for tonight. And our wise words for tonight is push through it. That's right. If you at the gym working out, exercising right now, push through it. Push through that last set. If you are a teacher working in our schools right now and you giving it your all and you just feeling down right now, smile, because you are valuable, you are important, and you are making an impact. Push through it. Wherever you are right now, if you just need a little bit of a pick-me-up, push through it. These are the wise words of Coffee Talk. So thank you for that. Thank you for tuning in. Let's go ahead and jump right into our show. Miss Bessie Coleman. Who is Miss Bessie Coleman? All right, Miss Bessie Coleman is one of our ancestors. Miss Bessie Coleman, born January 26, 1802. And she went to her essence April 30th, 1926. Bessie Coleman is an American civil aviator, and she's also known as Queen Bessie. If you ever heard that in passing and never knew where that came from, that word, Queen Bessie, that references Bessie Coleman. But Bessie Coleman was an American civil aviator. And she's the first woman of African American and Native American descent to hold a pilot license, and the first American to earn an international pilot license. Bessie Coleman, in 1921, she received her international pilot license in France. because no flight school in America would train a colored woman. Her goals were to encourage her people to the world of aviation. She desired to speak to audiences and children, to inspire them to get into the flight industry. In 1926, she fell to her death while practicing one of her famous stunt shows. Evidence later indicated her plane may have been tampered with. This is our ancestor, Miss Bessie Coleman. We give you our flowers. We tip our hat to you. We thank you for inspiring our children to want to go into aviation. To inspire, thank you for inspiring not only just our children, but our young ladies as well, that they too can soar. You know, so that is Miss Bessie Coleman, one of our heroes, born January 26, 1802. And she went to her eternal essence April 30th, 1926. Again, that's Bessie Coleman. All right. Next, we have Ivan Van Sertima. Some of you new college kids is probably just getting on campus. And if you're a freshman or a sophomore, you might just be getting introduced to him, perhaps even sooner, you know. But you should know about Ivan Van Sertima. All right. So tonight we're going to go ahead and talk about Ivan Van Sertima. As you can see, I got his picture up right now. So I just want to read that quote to our viewers first. Ivan Van Sertima once stated, "You cannot really conceive of how insulting it is to Native Americans to be told they were discovered." What you mean Columbus discovered America? I was already here. I was already here. I was already here. That's Ivan Van Sertima. So let's go ahead and discuss Ivan Van Sertima. Ivan Van Sertima was born January 26, 1935. Ivan Van Sertima, Gaines, born literary critic, linguist, and anthropologist. He was born in Kitty Village, Guyana, when it was still a British colony. Ivan Van Sertima became an associate professor of African studies at Rutgers University in the United States. In 1976, Ivan Van Sertima published the book, They Came Before Columbus, that features his arguments for an American origin of the Mesoamerican culture in the Western Hemisphere. They Came Before Columbus in 1976. The book introduced his argument that people of African origin came to Central and South America long before Christopher Columbus arrived in 1492. The book achieved widespread attention in the African American community and gave a different insight into African history. In 1977, Van Sertima received his master's degree and became an associate professor of African American studies at Rutgers in 1979. In the same year, he founded the Journal of African Civilizations, editing and publishing the journal for decades. The Journal of African Civilization helped transform how African history was viewed and taught. Its articles describe early African advances in agriculture, mathematics, arts, engineering, agriculture, writing, medicine, astronomy, and navigation. Van Sertima also discussed many of these topics in his several published books, including Blacks in Science, Ancient and Modern, 1983, Black Women in Antiquity, 1984, The African Presence in Early Asia, 1985, Great Black Leaders, Ancient and Modern in 1988, and Egyptian, The Child of Africa in 1994. His research also discussed the early African civilizations which has disappeared from history. In 1999, Van Sertima republished In the African Renaissance, which was early essays which discussed the scientific contributions of Africans. He also published critical essays questioning the work of previous historians and authors about the African continent. This is Mr. Ivan Van Sertima, one of our ancestors, one of our heroes, one of ours, born January 23rd, 1935, went to his essence May 25th, 2009. Again, this is Ivan Van Sertima. All right, so if you're just tuning in to Coffee Talk Podcast, this is Coffee Talk Podcast, the cultural variety podcast show. I am your host, MISHUMA SABA, M.SABA, and this is my cultural variety podcast show. Thank you for tuning in. We're happy to have you here. You know, we're always happy to have you here. And like I always say, you know, come on in, pour yourself some coffee, a cappuccino. You know, I'm in Minnesota, so right now it's winter. So pour you some cocoa, you know, pour you some wine, a smoothie, some water, whatever it may be. Come on in, kick your feet up. Welcome to our humble home. This is Coffee Talk Podcast. All right, so listen, we have one segment left, and that is a poem. Again, if you're just tuning in, this is Monday's Coffee Talk Monday edition. We call this Cultural Studies Night. So, you know, we just like to go and give out jewels, diamonds, and fruit. You know what I'm saying? So, welcome. All right. So I will be reading this poem. The poem is titled From the Dark Tower. It's a very short poem. It's probably only like 1 minute of talking. It'll be over with. And this is by Countee Cullen. You know, so if you want to check out any of her poems, you know, you can go to Google, type her name in, whatnot, and check out more work that she's done. Again, this is Countee Cullen, and this poem is titled The Dark Tower, 1927. We shall not always plant while others reap. The golden increment of busting fruit, not always countenance, object, and mute, that lesser men should hold their brothers cheap, nor everlastingly while others sleep. Shall we beguile their limbs with mellow flute, not always bend to some more subtle brute. We were not made eternally to weep. The night whose sable breast relieves the start. White stars is no less lovely being dark. And there are buds that cannot bloom at all. In light, but crumple, piteous, and fall. So in the dark we hide the heart that bleeds and wait and tend our agonizing needs. From the Copper Sun, 1927. This is Countee Cullen, poem, The Dark Tower, written in 1927. All right. All right. So what do y'all think about that? What do y'all think about the poem? Leave me a comment. Say hello. I don't even like that I even said that. I apologize for saying hello, but say greetings or hi, how you doing? I'm always open to that. How y'all doing? Greetings to y'all. Peace and love. But what is your thoughts on that poem, The Dark Tower, written back in 1927 about Countee Cullen? Is there any other poems that y'all can find or know of that she's written and wanna put it in the comments? Have you ever heard of Countee Cullen before? Do you like writing poems? Poetry. The great late Tupac Shakur was a great poet. What's your thoughts on Ivan Van Sertima? Much respect to the ancestor. And what about Bessie Coleman? Aviator. Man, and that was back then. What was it, 1927, y'all? Let me see what the date was on that. Oh, man, these was in the 1926 is when she passed away. 1921, this woman was flying, man. Can y'all believe that? I love our people. I really do. Because we're courageous. And we are infinite people. And that infinity, it expands. And that's what we are. We not afraid to do nothing or try nothing. And so you had women like Bessie Coleman, man, in 1921, flying an airplane. Now imagine the airplane is at what, 30,000 feet at least, right? And that woman wasn't afraid. Beautiful, beautiful story. What's y'all's thoughts on Miss Bessie Coleman? I like that picture right there. Y'all see that picture in the upper right corner? Isn't she beautiful? She says she got real leather on too, bruh. It's a real leather jacket. I remember when I was a teen, man, I used to work at this leather clothing store, man. And I learned all about leather jackets, man. The different types of leather and everything. Yeah, but man, Miss Bessie Coleman, man, she is definitely a hero of ours. We want to go ahead and give our flowers and tilt our hat off to you, Miss Bessie Coleman. You have inspired us. You continue to inspire us. And I am so grateful and honored that I had a chance to share your story tonight. So this is Coffee Talk Podcast. This is our cultural variety podcast show. This is our cultural study nights. I am your host, MISHUMA SABA, M.SABA. This is our cultural variety podcast, and we out of here, man. I'm going to go ahead and hit y'all with the universal peace sign. Thank you for tuning into our show. We'll see you Wednesday. You know what Wednesday is. If you don't know, Wednesdays is our sports edition. So come back and check that out. This is Coffee Talk flavor that we're going to be giving you on Wednesday. This is Coffee Talk, the variety podcast show. And again, I'm MISHUMA SABA, M.SABA. This is our Culture Variety Podcast. We out of here. Peace.